Well, what do you have over here? Hey, what's up? Hey, I can't do
what
this.
up, dog?
Nah, man. You on that BS early this week. But man, hey, I can't get over this intro. We got a whole intro still.
Still got an intro, dog.
Hey, but man, this is as we're gonna hop straight into it because I think every time we have a guest, we never want to cut them short. We always want to give them, the maximum amount of time to explain who they are, tell us who they are, so we could get to know the person behind the athletes. Because some people say we're in front of the athletes as coaches, but I think we're definitely behind the athletes. So of course, this is episode 1 of our coaching series. If you guys are not already paying attention, episode 1. We have, I'm going to say, a dad and a husband, first and foremost. I think that's always important, knowing the people have a life outside of this sport, y'all. Outside of that, we have the coach of, I don't want to mispronounce this, but SUF, Team SUF Natural Bodybuilding Coach. He's also the VP of ANBF Natural organization. He also hosts the CCN virtual contest. So if y'all don't know who I'm talking about, he coaches what? We know Dylan. We know Johnny. We know Ashley. We know the one girl, she's a WNBF world champion. I know he's going to tell us.
That one girl. Yeah, you're right. That one girl he coaches. Yeah.
He's going to tell us because we don't want to forget names. But welcome to the show, Mr. Ryan Sullivan. What's going on?
How you doing? It's great to be here.
What's going on, brother?
So first, I want you to correct the name that I forgot, so I do not disrespect that young lady. She's a WNBF world champion. Bikini.
Which one?
The bikini champion.
Oh, recent. Oh, Jana. Yeah, Janana.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have her as well. So first, I want to get straight into. Can you give us a little bit deeper bio on yourself? Like, what got you into coaching? Who you are? Just kind of brief intro for us.
I got into coaching through obviously competing, and that journey from competitor to coach pretty much really defined one element, an important element of my coaching philosophy. You know, when I got into natural bodybuilding, I was very excited and very enthusiastic, and it was always, I got to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. That's all I want to do. I want to win at everything. I want to get a pro card. I want to go straight to the top. And I put a lot into myself, and I put a lot into my prep, and a lot into the different things I was willing to try. I was doing a lot of stuff early that I was ridiculed about, and now it's come out that it's like, oh, this is, but either way, I did a lot of research, and I did a lot, and I really made sure that I covered every single little detail I could. I based my entire life around the process just to not win, okay, and fall short every time of that pro card. And then I started to really start looking myself in the mirror and say, listen, like, I think that I need to manage my expectations better here. And the definition of winning started to change for me. And that's when I started to realize that for certain people, winning is placing top 5 at the first show. Winning is winning the novice class at your show. And then other people, the winning is defined by the pro card. And then the definition changes to top 3 or top 5 in a pro class. And then the ultimate goal becomes things that you two have achieved. And that's that big title. Okay. And I just was not willing to accept that for me personally, I would not achieve a certain status. So I had to make a decision. I could either stay in it for the love of the sport and continue to do it, which I think that a lot of people should, or I took the direction of, I've learned a lot and I do soak up information at a very fast pace. What if I tried to coach people who were probably in a better genetic standing than I was, that maybe I could help other people get those bigger wins? And that's what motivated me to jump into the coaching. And that's what I mean about, again, full circle, about setting expectations. My draw, and I guess my brand, which is my fault, is winning. You come here to win. That's great. I like to be known as where you go to win, but realistically, I try to be as clear with the competitors as possible with managing those expectations that, listen, winning has different stages, and for different people, winning means different things. And there are going to be, unfortunately, people who, once they win their pro card, their competitive career is over. Okay. You may still do it for the love and you want to go there and do the best for you, for yourself, and improve. But we all know that there are people like that. And then there are people who, like you guys, based on your previous wins and your career, not winning the big one is considered, not ideal. There are different levels to everyone's athletic career there, as a bodybuilder. And that's really where it started. My love, my obsession with the sport. And I just needed to, I wasn't Michael Jordan, so I was going to become Phil Jackson.
I love the analogy. Like that. What you got for us, Jamal?
Well, my first question is, what's the biggest challenge you face with your athletes competing in different organizations? And you as a coach, what difference do you see in the different organizations that you do bring your athletes to?
I'm going to take an outside of the box approach to this because I truly believe it. I think that the biggest hurdle for me is not jumping from organization to organization. I think that the biggest hurdle for me as a coach has been dealing with really great, passionate, exceptional, remarkable promoters, and then the really bad ones. I don't care what organization you're in. I don't. I'm of the belief that the people should follow the promoters, and that's it. If a promoter, I don't care what banner you fly. I don't care the letters. I don't care. And I'm saying that as a VP of an organization. I don't care. I like when I have a promoter who is detail oriented, gets lists out, is communicating well to the competitors, is making the competitors excited. They want to compete at the show. They're making my life easier in terms of information flow. I'm not guessing. I'm not stressed. That right there is what I look for. The hurdles from organization to organization, it doesn't really bother me. Some things are different. Yes. The idea of, like, let's say bikini quarter turns versus half turns. Yeah. Okay. A little bit of a learning curve, but a good athlete and a good posing coach is going to overcome that. My biggest hurdle since day one has been not the difference in organizations. It's the difference in quality, passion, and excitement from promoter to promoter, regardless of the banner.
Nah, I could definitely agree on that. Cause like I said, I think, honestly, even in our competition history, we competed amongst different organizations, and we honestly say, like, this show over here is really great, and I would take my athletes to that show every year. Yep. This organization, this show is really great. So I think staying true to what makes bodybuilding great, I think, is the overall mass of what we do as coaches by taking athletes and supporting specific shows, I ain't gonna say specific organizations, but specific shows in general. And I kind of want to ask a follow-up question on that question with that is, have you run into problems with the criterias? Like, me and Jamal spoke about how at certain shows, Men's Physique would have to do bodybuilding poses, or organizations will have to do bodybuilding poses, but then they also don't want muscular guys. And then in other organizations, they want a leaner guy for classic, and then maybe in another organization, they want a less leaner guy. So how do you tackle that as a coach?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I thought I evaded Jamal there, but
that was going to be my follow-up question, actually. So no, I was going to get you one way or another.
Okay. That is a tough one. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to put letters, but I've gone to certain shows, and based on where I'm from culturally, I'd be like, oh, that person can't win. That person's a bodybuilder. And then someone will whisper, like, well, that's the champion from last year. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, really? Like, how is that person not a bodybuilder? And I'm talking about the men's physique class. It was that obvious where I'm like, okay, so things may be a little different here. That's interesting. Again, the thing that's going to happen is even within a specific organization, if you go to different blocks of the country, you're going to have an even bigger difference in the judging. And that's what I dealt with my previous home. It's like, if you were here, you kind of had a certain consistency. If you went over to the West Coast, it was like the Wild West. You didn't know what the hell was going on over there. How you deal with that? If something goes like crazy wrong, the most I would do is first have the athlete reach out to not really the judges, maybe the promoter, and be like, hey, like what kind of happened here? Because the promoter is going to know the average of the judges. If it's consistent, like where it's kind of weird, I may ask like, hey, what's this about? If it becomes so blatant that it's, sometimes we unfortunately have bumped into other shows. And again, I will say this, it is not in the OCB or not in the ANBF, where there has been blatant favoritism, this person sponsored the show. And I'm like, we're not going here anymore. So there are a lot of variables involved in here. The different criteria from different divisions from different organizations is one thing. Then the variables of within an organization, the cultures and the judges in different areas or geographic locations. And then on top of that, there's also the shady part of the sport. In terms of the criteria, I don't think it's ever going to be something that is ever done proper or 100% correct. It can't be, because let's say you have the best defined criteria, right? Oh, in men's physique, we don't want to be too muscular. Okay. At the end of the day, you can only be judged but based on what's on stage. So if you say that the criteria says, nope, this guy, you can point to one guy like, this guy's way too muscular. Now you put him in a show against 5 slugs. And what are you going to do? You're going to let him lose? Because that looks even worse. So again, there's so many variables here, and sometimes people seek to perfect it. It's never really ever perfected. It's you can only try to do your best, and you can only try to do your best based on what's in front of you on stage that day, because you could take one person in one lineup and put him in a totally different lineup, or her in a different lineup, and you get a totally different outcome.
Nah, for sure. What you got?
What do I do? I sometimes I hope and pray. It's just like,
that's what I was about to say at the beginning.
What can you do? It's like when you know all the variables, you realize like, oh shit, like you just got to hope that people have a good trained eye.
Yeah. And I think, I'm going to just say something real quick, and then Jamal, it's on you. I was about to say, that's the one thing I instill in my clients. I was just like, you control everything up until you walk on stage. Yeah. Whatever happens, then you control nothing.
You have no clue who's showing up. You have no clue what the judges are looking for. It is honestly sometimes it's a risk to do any show. Honestly, you're just trying to mitigate and lower that risk and go to places where you kind of know, like, okay, these people have their stuff together.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. So, Ryan, I've seen you a couple times backstage, and the most recent time I want to say was at the Yorton, and then before that, I seen you at No Gear with Dylan.
Yeah.
And I don't know you from a can of paint, or didn't know you from a can of paint, right? But you just have that look like you don't want to be F with, right? So
I don't want to be. Who wants to be?
What is your coaching style? Because you can look somewhat intimidating, walking around backstage, and people may get the wrong impression of you. So,
about this. Yeah.
What's your coaching style?
But you got to also explain what you wear backstage as well.
No, man, shut up, Eric. That's my guy. God damn, boy. Shit. That was one of my quick hitters, man.
Ooh. me at a show, I was saying before you came on when we were talking, just the two of us, I'm there for my athlete. I'm not there to chat it up, chop it up, take photos. Some of the time I'm in an unfortunate situation where I don't have as much photos as I really want. Because why? I'm focused on my athletes. I'm very detailed. I'm very organized, and I know that every single one of those competitors are my ultimate responsibility. Do I come off a certain way? Yeah. I could see it between the beard, the hair, my size. I'm wearing all black, but to me, I am not going to intimidate people. I'm really just super focused. I'm very focused on every possible thing that could go wrong. I'm focused on, do I have all my shit together? Am I putting this person in the best possible position to win? And really, that's what my number one goal is. If I have the byproduct of like, damn, I'm not gonna F with this guy, I'll take that. That's fine with me. Because at the end of the day, yes, you're not as inviting and maybe people won't come to you. The people who truly belong with me will come to me. They will come to me. They will talk to somebody and someone's going to be like, this guy puts me first all the time. And regardless of whatever you may see or hear or whatever, he puts me first all the time, whether he's at the show or not at the show. That's really it. Like, and I was saying before, I don't really go up to because I know how focused I am. Therefore, that's why I've never approached you, Jamal, at a show, because I don't know what you're focused on. I don't know who you're helping out or what you're dealing with mentally, that it's like some guy you don't know is going to come to you, hey, buddy, you want to chop it up? It's like, no, like, no, like if I know you, if I have some sort of prior something, which I know you always need something to get something, but it just never organically happened. I thought you talked to me at the Yorton. I was like, well, he talked to me. He knows I'm Dylan's coach. He's sitting right over there. He didn't. I was like, this guy. But you're focused. You have to compete. I'm not going to go up to you and bother you like, hey, how you doing? Now I would, but I'm really focused on what I have to focus on in that given day. I don't really talk much to strangers, as weird as that sounds. I just don't. I talk to people who I know. I talk to people who I'm familiar or comfortable with. And other than that, I'm focused on it's game day. Like if I make a mistake because I'm chopping it up or doing this or taking selfies with someone who's not my client, and I make a mistake, I won't be able to look at myself in the mirror for a really long time, knowing that I did or missed something. Because I've made a career off of capitalizing off of those coaches. Yeah, you live, not you, those coaches who live their show day through the lens. I pick those people apart. If those people are close, if it's close matchup, I'm going to chew you up and spit you out because you're not focused. You're not focused. I'm focused. You're going to miss this. You missed the tan touch-ups. The sheen is shit. Your person's going flat. Keep doing this. You'll be fine, bro. You'll be fine.
All right. So Eric already brought it up, but that was one of my questions. What inspired your dress attire, or what made you come up with that whole ordeal?
Efficiency. Efficiency.
So do you want to, for the people that don't know, do you want to describe your dress attire at the show? I
mean, certain shows it gets hot. I don't wear the vest, but yeah, I mean, the end evolution became the tactical vest and the tactical belt and the knee pad. Why? Because when I started, it was like, okay, I got a backpack. Now I'm rummaging through this backpack. I can't find anything. It's falling on the floor. I'm like, okay, I'm a very dedicated but lazy person. I'm like, I'm not going through this all the time. So then it turned into, the aprons. When you're a waiter or waitress, the aprons were actually very efficient. I got 3 pockets. I could put my stuff here, there. I was like, okay, this is good, but now I need other stuff. So it's like the aprons plus a book bag. Then there was a team I was kind of beefing with. They did the aprons too. And I was like, no way. There's no way I'm doing aprons and they're doing aprons. There's no way. We need a solution. Tactical belt. I was like, a tactical belt. I can put as many of the Molly packs on it as I want. I could put my phone thing. I could have my phone because I'm always fumbling my phone. I could put my NO2, my candy, everything could be in this. Then it was like, oh man, I got to carry around the tan or this and that. So we're doing a lot of the tans ourselves. I was like, I don't know how to get anything else strapped to me. The vest. I was like, if I put this vest, I can pop all my tan, my sheen, my mitts right out of I'm wearing it. I don't have to worry about forgetting it. It's on me. And there was the effect. It was a practical thing that led to like, oh shit, like what is that? It is actually very practical. I would not do something style-wise to make a point if it wasn't practical. It was practical, and it checked a box where it was like, again, I'm not gonna bother that guy.
I mean, you do have, and then you also have like resistance bands hanging from your sides.
Plus, again, what am I gonna? I used to wear the bands around my neck, and then it got caught on the door once and almost choked me. I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this shit. I'm not. So I got the clips, and I was like, let me clip the bands to me, so now I could focus on something, and the people can do the rows off of my belt. So I'm not holding a band for them. They're just literally using my weight and the band off my belt, and I can do something else. It all came from being efficient and being practical. The knee pad, it's just like, again, you run to the crowd, you got to be on your knees. It's like that starts to like add up. You're on your knees sheening. I was like, I'm getting a knee pad. So it all just over the years, what annoyed me the most, how to make it more efficient. And then from there, it was like, well, yeah, obviously I wanted to look a certain style, a certain way. And here, there we go.
Okay.
But at any given point, at any time, if someone needed something, candy, I'm flat, I had little water packets. It's like, it's on me. I don't have to, hold on, let me be right back. It's like, it's on me at all times. Whatever you need, whatever I need to do what I need to do at that moment in time, it's on me. It was just the easiest way for me. And again, I'm not searching through a backpack. I'm not taking stuff out. It's like, boop, 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 boop. It just made sense for me.
It's definitely a fashion statement too. Like
I'll take it.
Sure when people see you, they know exactly who you are.
Well, that's why I had to make sure I put Team SUF big on the back of it, because it's like, I don't want to get called. I don't want the cops being called at the Unabombers at the show, because that's why I put patches on it and try to just look as friendly as possible.
Gotcha. So we're going to move into our segments. I have one question for the first call out segment. Jamal has a few quick hitters, and then I also have a question for the last segment. So super quick thing. So first call out, we got a nice graphic here. Women, men, everybody right there. So first call out, say you have a person who wants a bodybuilding coach. What are 3 characteristics that a client has to have to be a great fit for Team SUF?
Work ethic. You definitely, work ethic. I don't want, if you're going to compete and spend all this money and I'm going to put all this into you, I would like, you to put in some effort too. Again, I know not everyone's going to have the certain mindset of how intense they want to be, but you're still putting in a lot. So I like the work ethic. I also seem to recruit a lot, and I think it's the best fit of more of lone wolves. There are people out there, because I deal with a lot of female clients, but there are people out there who like the bigger team environment. They like to go to the gym together. I don't know, whatever they want to do. That's not Team SUF. We do not have that sorority or fraternity vibe. When we go to shows, yes, we're very supportive of each other. Social media, people make their own relationships, but we attract the workhorse lone wolf. And anyone who's got a chip on their shoulder who wants to prove something, I'm the guy. I would draw it right out of you. That's really my thing, the workhorse. And someone who's just, again, has healthy expectations. Someone comes to me and they're never competed before and they want to be an overall bikini world champion. It's like, you need to worry about succeeding in the first 4 weeks of your first diet before you even talk about that.
Yeah. Like all those answers. What you got, Jamal?
This is kind of off script.
Oh, great.
It ain't nothing like that. But balance, right? You're a coach, a husband, and a father, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance all that?
Systems and efficiency. When I first started coaching, I was very organized, but I had very analog methods, spreadsheets and this and analog methods that kept me organized. And I started to realize once I got hot, I'm like, damn, I'm spending a lot of time building these programs and dealing with all this stuff. If my trajectory keeps going in the direction I'm going, in 4 years from now, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. So at that point in time, I made an investment. It was a scary one, but I made an investment into designing and developing my own coaching and training software. It's not a third-party lease. It's mine. Once I got that, it changed my life. I was able to offer more, didn't sacrifice at all in terms of creativity. There's no like automated program builds. It's not like you're talking to a bot, but all of that stuff, a lot of stuff became very organized and efficient for me. I was making little to no mistakes, didn't sacrifice on creativity, and I was able to offer a lot more and take on more people and save more time. So that model stuck in my head. We did the Thanksgiving food drive, and the Thanksgiving food drive was a lot. It was like, again, analog systems to make things efficient. And next thing you know it, I'm up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, dealing and managing and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? We can't get over $12,000 in donations. And I'm up until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't think I can do this anymore. Designed a software. The next year we went from 12,000 to 40,000. And I felt like I was cheating because I wasn't doing all that tedious work. So that model has always been the way for me. You got to go through the growing pains, which I went through at CCN, the same thing. CCN was a nightmare in terms of, I've never seen anything like that. The nightmare I had to deal with and my wife had to deal with the feedback cards that we're manually building. But you have to go through those analog steps to know where and what you need. You can't jump to software without knowing the workflow. So you have to get, kicked in the face for a year to know what you need. And then CCN became a software. Now it feels like I'm cheating. The same thing is happening with the organization that I'm a vice president in, the ANBF. Same thing. It's going to be very analog this year, organized analog, but systems, machines help me a lot. You never want to lose the human aspect, but if I can have machines help me and softwares help me with all that clerical and all that stuff, I could focus more on the personal stuff. Same thing with promoting. There's a lot I'm learning now. There's so much involved with like this manual analog process in order to put on a show and make sure the names are in the right spot. Like I've already solved those problems with CCN. I got to do the same thing here. Go through the analog, take your lumps, get punched in the face, and then from there, go to software so this way I can focus on, instead of focusing on this tedious crap, I can focus on how can I make this a better experience? How I've saved time now. How can I put more into this? And how can I spend more time with my family and, my son and all that stuff? That has always been my way out, is machines, software, efficiency.
Okay. So that moves us into our last call out. And these are the quick hitters. These are the ones you probably don't have to think much about. This is where people get in trouble. Now let me stop. Cool. But I have this photo. And like I said, I went through your Instagram and there was like a constant trend of your celebration photos. And when on the outside looking at, I'm just like, hey, what is this? Like, I want to know. So I'm going to show a picture of it. So usually when someone places or you see someone with the medal, you usually look at the medal and things of that nature. So can you explain the reasoning or the logic behind that?
Well, think of the variables in taking a picture. Mm-hmm. One, who's taking the picture? There's usually 2 cameras going at the same time. Who's looking where? On top of that, with the limited amount of photos that I potentially get in a day at a show, because of being busy. You ever get those photos where you're both looking at the camera and one person looks good, the other person's got their eyes closed, or look like this?
Yeah.
I don't like looking at the camera. It just creates a complexity that I don't want to deal with. So I started to do that. If I let the focus be on the athlete, that's one variable removed, me. Focus on the athlete, which one, I think it should be anyway. Two, by me focusing on the medal, it just goes with that brand of like, all I care about is winning. I'm focused on the prize, even though it's much deeper than that. And it makes the photo, it gives the photo its own unique thing. You asked me about it. I bet you don't ask that about anyone else. So that's really the thing behind it. It's like, you see, those photos, the eyes closed. My eyes are actually very sensitive. That's why when people see me wear like light sunglasses indoors, like, oh, he's that guy. It's like, no, my eyes are actually very sensitive to contrast and light. So I wear glasses a lot. Some people have flashes. A flash, I can never take a photo with a flash because an eye's closed. It doesn't work. So why ruin the picture? I could just look at the medal and not have to worry about, I have to sort through photos. Oh, we don't have a good one, or a good one of me and the athlete looks bad. It just solves all of the issues. Focuses on the athlete, and I get to keep that winning brand.
I like it.
All right. So my last question I got for you, Ryan. Us as athletes and coaches, we always talk about what we would do or what we would change if we got an opportunity to do so, right? You are now in a driver's seat of an organization. You're the VP of the ANBF, right? So what changes or what are you going to do as the vice president to make that organization better and to make athletes want to come to that organization and compete?
Well, that's the thing. Not to get too long, but I have a reputation for complaining or stuff like that on social media. Why do you think I want to go to social media? I think I wake up and I'm like, oh, let me go on social media and complain. No, I've learned through all the years that I would talk to certain people about things that needed to be changed. I did bring my ideas to the table. I did prove that I'm highly capable to produce things and systems that could revolutionize the sport as we know it. And I really got like overlooked. I'll go over there. We don't want to talk to you. We're not ready for this conversation. Okay, so what did I learn? The only way to protect my athletes or the direction was go fucking crazy on social media. And that's the only thing that got people looking in my direction. Like, he can be a little rough sometimes, but if you really think about what he's saying, I kind of can get behind what he's saying. I learned very fast that I'm very limited in my ability to change anything as a coach. So then it was like, oh, well, let me become a promoter. You still start to learn that you could be very limited in what you can change as a promoter because you're still answering to, an organization or whatever, a sanction. By me being able to go in as the ANBF and as a promoter, I get to lead by example. I get to work with someone who's very passionate about the sport and who thankfully has given me a very loose leash to change. I was like, the website's got to go. Done. Did the website. I have certain standards I want with the posters. It's like the website, your posters and stuff like that. That's your front lines. The athletes are going to see that. And if those are not of top tier quality, someone's saying like, this show's a joke. So all those things, we're cleaning up a lot of rules. We're did a big rebrand. And again, this is the analog year, but the software is being built. Jericho as a concept already works for CCN. Now I need to tweak it and move some components around to work for TLE, traditional live events. And that's the future right there. The way I can use people don't realize that CCN is dual use technology. CCN is CCN is a competition that awards prize money. It is a feedback mechanism that is unparalleled in bodybuilding or natural bodybuilding. And on top of that, the collection of videos that we take through CCN, that's a growing database. When you have that growing database, I have the ability to create whatever matchups I want. I can take a winner from this year and pair them up against a winner from 2 years ago, create an ideal matchup, and then make people score it. And that's how you can train judges. That's the way to do it, because everyone's synced to the same audio. It's not like you submit a video, you're dancing around, you're doing your poses. No, everyone's synced to the same audio. That's how I'm able to crop everyone together. And the larger that database becomes, the more of a tool that becomes to train judges. Like, hey, score this. Let me see what you did here. Now explain to me why it was scored this way. So I'm able to make these changes. It's going to take time. And I think the big first hit is how I perform at my shows. I could sit here and talk all day like I have, or I can go and lead by example with the shows that I'm going to promote. And I'm coming out swinging. Like I'm telling you, I'm not effing around when it comes to promoting and how I'm going to try to create excitement, the awards that I'm going to be presenting, and how I want to introduce that to the public with videos and out of the box thinking. And I'm not messing around. And that is how I plan to change things. I've learned that I can tell people this is how it needs to be done, and they'll say, oh, I don't know about that. And then exactly when I show it, it's like, oh, I want that. It's like, I told you that a year ago. That's exactly what I told you, but they needed to see it. And this is my shot right now. And I'm not gonna blow it.
Well, man, I'm excited for you, and I'm sure Kent is glad to have you. So we can't wait to see what y'all two put together.
Thank you.
Super excited. And then, of course, once again, thank you for joining us. We love this conversation because we always say, hey, give us 15 minutes. But then the ones that really go 35 or 45, I think those are the ones we take the most from. And people really get to know who you are, what you stand for, and possibly, hopefully, we could bring some more business to you as well as the ANBF in some days to come. But with that, you guys, until next time, peace.